of serving jail time to not allow him to go to the overhaul base where the rescue helicopters were, and he kept on fighting. And it took him probably 4 or 5 hours to finally get an official yes to be able to go, but he kept on saying, I have a job to do. I don't care who's you don't have to pay us. I don't know what money you're talking about, but we have a job to save people. Who are you to say that no one is alive up there? And so he taught me that you just got to keep on fighting each and every day, no matter how uncomfortable it might be, no matter how much you may tick somebody off in the process. But if you are passionate about something, anything, you just have got to keep on fighting for it. Because if he wouldn't have kept on fighting, I don't know if I would be here today. I have no idea if I would have survived. So what's the legacy? This is the young man who pulled me out of the plane. No, I did not marry him. I get asked that so many times. You people love a happy ending.
Living, breathing safety manager, whether that's part of your title or not. And so when we make safety a priority, it's important, right? Anything that is labeled a priority is important, right? But I don't know about you, but my priorities when I was 23 years old are quite a bit different from my priorities now as a 46-year-old, right? And so what matters is that is priorities can change from month to month or year to year, or depending on who's in management, but values don't change because values are ingrained in you. If safety is a value, it means it is interwoven into the mentality, into your heart, into your mind, so that everything that you do, safety is a part of that decision. It's not something that you have to be reminded of. It's not something that you have to see, you have to have like.
Now, first, before we can move forward and enjoy being resilient, we first have to know, well, what are some of the obstacles? What are some of the things that are going to actually hold us back from being resilient? And there are three simple things: immune neglect, focalism, and impact bias. Immune neglect is us having no idea how strong and resilient we truly are. Focalism is when we go completely have our blinders on and just get fixated on everything that's wrong instead of everything that we can do to make things right. And impact bias is this over-exaggerated sense that we have of how a setback can derail us. Yes, setbacks and adversity do have the ability and the power to knock us down, but impact bias has a tendency of us thinking that we're going to be down and out for a lot longer than what we actually are, because you know what? We're actually a lot stronger than what we think.
And so with transparency, it's about being completely open. And aside from being open and honest and having information available and accessible to the stakeholders, it's also about encouraging feedback. I would not be in my business if I did not take and receive and learn from the feedback that I get from my clients. And sometimes when you're working in a situation, you're going to get great feedback. And other times you're going to get feedback that makes you feel like you're a pile of hot garbage. But that is part of transparency, is that it doesn't matter whether you think you did a good job. What matters is the people that you're delivering your product and your service to, do they see that you did a good job? Our intentions, we can have the best intentions, but what matters is how our work is received, right? And so it's always about encouraging that feedback back and forth. It doesn't just go from the top down. It has to circulate at all levels in order for transparency to truly be a reality. Demand, because those demands aren't ever going to change. And there's always going to be disruptors, right? I mean, just ask taxi drivers what they feel about Uber or Lyft. Just ask Marriott hotels what they think about Airbnb, right? There's always going to be people in your industry that completely out of nowhere are going to come and completely disrupt everything that you've been trained to do and everything that you thought was going to be normal. And back in my day when I was in sales, we used to have playbooks against all of our competitors, right? There was different selling points that you very casually was like, well, if you go with company ABC, these are the things that we're hearing out in the industry of, the problems, you very casually throw total shade on your competition, and those things have never changed. But now competition is coming from everywhere, and it's not so easy to put one little playbook together because the competition is always evolving, always changing. But the best thing about that is that we are always evolving, we are always changing as well, and so we can step up to meet those challenges because we are resilient. And so,
For it, grief can be all encompassing. How did you deal with your grief on a daily basis once you began transitioning back to normal?
yes, grief can strike you anytime, anywhere. I mean, you can be minding your own business, driving to the grocery store, and a song will come on. Before you know it, you are crying like a freaking baby, and your mascara is running. You're like, damn it, that song. Just memories can come back, and you think, oh, I'm healed. But really, all that grief is, or at least to me, it's not knowing how to. Uh, uh, it's not knowing how to live without them. It's knowing how to live with them in a new way, right? And so the grief to me is a daily thing that I have to deal with, and that I struggle with, quite frankly. But I try to see all the good instead of focusing on the fact that they're not here anymore. I try to focus on all the funny stories and all the good times that we had, because that's all I have is those memories. And so if I can celebrate and enjoy and relish those and savor those, then it makes those poignant reminders not hit so hard.